Hello everyone! There is excellent news in the world of jailbreaking today, as Panda Own earlier this afternoon, 3 o'clock New York time, right around that time today, officially tweeted out that Unc0ver, the jailbreak tool that he developed and created, can now support A9, yes, A9, not A8 through A11 devices. So I'll get into those devices in just a second. So the official iOS supported devices right now are from iOS 13.0 to iOS 13.3. So the following devices are supported. So I will zoom in. So that way if you are on a smartphone or a tablet, you can see the devices that are supported. So the following devices that are included for this big update that support iOS 13 to 13.3. If you listened to my advice weeks ago warning you to downgrade or stay from 13.0 to 13.3 are the following: iPhone 6s and the 6s Plus, the iPhone SE, and the iPad 2017 5th generation. The A10 devices are as follows: the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, iPad 2018 6th generation, iPod Touch 7th gen from 2019, and the iPad 2019 7th generation. Now, I'll go on the record and say this right now. For anybody who has an iPod Touch, I'm going to double check this. Yeah, here we go. For the iPod Touch 6th generation, if you have an iPod Touch 6th generation, and I want to mention this, I want to make sure what the latest iOS is. I know it should be here somewhere. If you do have that device, CheckRain does support iOS 12.4.5. So if you do have an iPod Touch 6th Gen and you want to jailbreak, thankfully the good news is at this precise moment, you can still jailbreak. So that is very good news. And I'm hoping that maybe I can get a secondary device so I can show you the Windows tool, because I definitely need a secondary device when CheckRain releases their Windows tool. As far as the A11 devices, the iPhone 8, which I have, the 8 Plus, and the iPhone 10 are supported. However, I want to go on the record and say this. For A8 devices, which are the following, and I will go on the record and make sure that I give you the right information. The iPod Touch 6th Gen, once again, that's 12.4.5. If you have that, you can jailbreak with CheckRain. iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, iPad 4, Apple TV, and the HomePod. Those are devices, and I'll once again go on the record and state this so that way everybody misunderstood Panda Own. And I want to make sure that I definitely give you the right information from Wikipedia, of course. We're just going to double check to see what the last iOS was released. 12.4.5. Once again, you are going to have to use CheckRain. So use CheckRain if you are on 12.4.5. So I'm just going to go on the record and state that right now. So I'll mention iOS 13 device is from the iPhone SE all the way up to the iPhone 11, which is the current one. I just want to make sure I got that right. Okay, so let's get into some more details. Now, there is no particular reason to switch to the Unc0ver jailbreak if you are already running the CheckRain jailbreak, other than the convenience of being able to re-jailbreak your device without a computer. So obviously, the intention of this video today is to show you how you can switch between CheckRain and Unc0ver, which, again, if Unc0ver stays the way it is, I'm definitely keeping my phone on 13.3 because I don't want to deal with the tethered method right now with CheckRain. But I definitely want to make a tutorial on Windows, so I'll have to figure out a secondary device when that does come to mind. So the other detail I want to get into is your jailbreak apps and tweaks will be preserved when switching from the CheckRain jailbreak for A9. So once again, not A8. Once again, if you are on an A8 device, please use CheckRain. Please use CheckRain. I want to make that very clear with everybody. For A9 through A11 devices, you can switch back to the checkra1n jailbreak while preserving your jailbreak apps and tweaks. But you will still need to manually install Substrate from Cydia after switching back. So again, I'm probably not going to use checkra1n until further notice, because maybe I will use checkra1n when iOS 14 comes out later in the fall. But for now, at the moment, I'm keeping my device on 13.3, unless noted furtherwise that the Unc0ver tool gets updated in the future. So let's note that on the record here. Now, any other details? Once again, A9 through A11. So A8, once again, only goes up to 12.4.5. So again, A8, that is checkra1n. A9 through A11, 13.0 to 13.3 is supported. If you have iOS 13.3.1, the bad news is you cannot use this method. However, the good news is, once again, A7 through A11 devices are 100% compatible with checkra1n. So you want to use checkra1n? I'll leave my tutorial. Well, I won't leave my tutorial, but I will leave links. I'll update the description as I go along here. But without further ado, let's get into switching from checkra1n to Unc0ver. So the first thing I want you guys to do is to go into Cydia. So I will launch up my Cydia in just a second here. So stand by. There we go. So here is Cydia. Now I'm going to cancel updating because that is not important at the moment. So the first thing I want you guys to do is search for a tweak called Flame. So search for Flame. It's in the Big Boss repo. You're going to install it. Once you respring, go back into Cydia, tap install. You're going to see this folder. Now, you can export your tweak and source list into an email. Highly recommend doing both, so that way you have everything. Pretty much everything will be fine. Now, also you can back up. If you do an iTunes backup, you'll be fine as well. So back up on iTunes. Thankfully, again, I have emailed everything, so if something goes wrong, I thankfully do have an email. Which I prefer the email anyway. Which that's why I love Flame so much. It's such a good tweak. So again, it's in the Big Boss repo. You can do it that way. Now, next up, launch checkra1n. And we're going to get rid of checkra1n. So you want to do is hit Restore System. So we're now going to restore our system. And I'll just take you back to the window capture here very quickly. So pretty much now what's going to happen is your device is going to restart. And we'll get to my device when it boots up. But once again, I am looking for a secondary device. So I am going to recommend to everybody, if you have, I don't know, an iPod Touch 6, an iPhone 6, all the way up to the 10. If you have a device that you don't really use anymore and you don't want a jailbreak, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter at Andy's Randomness. We'll make an arrangement or something if you are interested in donating a device, or hopefully, again, I'll look into possibly getting a device somewhere. I don't know where I'll get it, but I'll make it happen, because as long as it's an iPhone 5S to the 10, that would be my preferred goal right now. Absolutely, in my mind, without a doubt, the intended goal at the moment. So, hopefully I might get help from someone. Anybody willing to cooperate, that would be great, because I need a secondary device as soon as possible. Now, you may be wondering, why do I need a secondary device? Well, when the checkra1n tool comes out for Windows, I will need a way to jailbreak that device in order to show you guys how the Windows tool works for checkra1n. Currently, right now, we haven't heard anything from the Checkbrain team regarding any Windows updates. None of the other jailbreak YouTube channels have talked about it recently. But hopefully, in the nick of time, I will get a secondary device. And hopefully, a miracle can happen that I can hopefully jailbreak an A7 through an A11 device that can hopefully help me out here. Now, for any odd reason, if I do get a used iPhone 10, and this is just my preference, I'm probably just going to use that for the jailbreak demonstration, because then it just looks cool, I guess, with, ooh, no home screen, but I prefer the button. That's just me. And by the way, I am hoping Apple's going to release another device with a button in the future, because I just prefer my button. It's just preferential treatment. So, I'm going to load up my phone in just a second. By the way, I'll go on the record and say this right now. It's currently 9:40 Eastern, and I just got the bad news from the ESPN app. The Islanders lost to the Rangers tonight in overtime. And the game was at Nassau Coliseum, so I'll just mention that. Okay, so now we got completely off topic. I'm going to take you now to a website, so let's go back to my video capture device. So, the next step you're going to do is enter this website, jailbreak me. Make sure I got the me correct. I know it's not two E's. .app. So now we're going to go here, and as you see here, it loads right up. So, the first thing I want you guys to do before, because keep that in the background. This is the next step I want you guys to do. So please, 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 go into your settings. And what you're going to do in settings, you load up settings, and you're going to go into general. You're going to go into, I'm trying to make sure I get into iPhone storage. So thankfully with this we can find it. Yes, we'll go to storage. Yes, storage. Now, we're going to look for any OTA updates. Now, it is very important if you are on 13.4 beta, which is absolutely critical in this step. You're going to make sure that if you have any, and I mean in this very sincere way, any updates. Let's say you have 13.3.1. Let's say you have 13.4 beta. Please remove it. Please absolutely remove it. Otherwise, if you update, you lose your semi-untethered jailbreak. So, thankfully, we still have that option at the moment on the A7 through the 11. But the A12 and A13 devices, you better be careful with your OTA updates, is what I'm saying here. Alright. Back to Safari now. So now when we are in Safari, most important thing we're going to do right now is tap on download. So we're going to install Unc0ver. Now Unc0ver should be installing right now, so you should see it right here. And once again, unfortunately, that pesky notification from the NHL app has told me the Islanders lost to the Rangers tonight at Nassau Coliseum. At least it wasn't overtime, so at least the Islanders will get a point in the standings. So I do have to keep an eye on the Columbus Blue Jacket game, because that's going to impact the wild card standings. So I'll just quickly look that up on a different tab here. No, I'll just type in Blue Jackets. I can't spell that for my livelihood. Anybody's interested, the good news is Columbus is losing 4-1 in the end of the second period. So, that's the good news on my part. I mean, I'm the one trying to keep occupied until we move on to the next step. Just keeping in mind, folks, there's one month left in the hockey season. So, want to bear with me on that. Also, if anybody's wondering who's on my lock screen, that is Sir Drew McIntyre. And I won't get into wrestling, but he's my lock screen. Yep. Really hate when your apps try to give you an unfortunate reminder. Okay, so we're going to go to Uncover. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we have to go to the device profiles. So go to General. And now what we're going to do is go down to Profile and Device Management. We're going to trust the profile. And I will have a tutorial available for everybody on how to keep the profile signed. So I did have a tutorial somewhere, but if I lost that tutorial, I will re-record that tonight. That doesn't take that long to do, because I know I had help from Saunders when it came to that a while back. So now the app is trusted, so now let's go into the Uncover. So now we're going to hit jailbreak. Now, depending on how many times this takes, so let's see what happens here. If the device does have to restart, we will restart it, of course. So it is a very delicate process. I will say that for the record. That's just my capture card going off at the moment. But once again, please note that if your device does restart a couple times, it means you're going to have to keep going into Uncover and making sure that Cydia does get onto your device. But once again, I'm just so stoked. I can't believe this is actually reality. So right now, I don't see anything on the computer at the moment. There we go. So I do apologize. Going to have to go to my window capture, so I don't want you to see my password. There we go. Yep, thankfully this came back on here. So I'm just waiting for my Wi-Fi to come back on my phone. Here we go. Wi-Fi's back. So once again, we do not have Cydia at the moment. Now, we'll just double check my utilities to see if Cydia is here. Once again, Cydia is not on the screen. Alright, so we'll have to re-jailbreak again. Now, again, this could take a couple times depending on your device. So stay patient. And I'm hoping in the next couple of days that Pawn2Own will release an update. Because I remembered when 12.4 was first jailbroken when we did this method back in the summer of 2019, was that you had to wait a while for the jailbreak to constantly go through. Alright, there we go. Jailbroke in 25 seconds. So that's not that bad. So we are going to be jailbroken in just a second. So our device is going to respring. So wait for the device to respring. Once again, there's no signal, so you're going to have to bear with me here. Yes, so I'll just have to unlock my device again. Okay, here we go. Format not supported. So that is very odd. How is my device not being shown? That is very, very, very odd. Alright, so I'll have to come back and show you if Cydia is working or not. So I am having a problem with my capture card. I have no idea what's going on with it, but pretty much the good news is once you're done with everything, once everything is jailbroken, we're now going to go into my utilities, whereas I had Cydia originally. So Cydia will be right here. So currently right now we have 6 changes. So that is very interesting. 6 changes at the moment. But here we are again, 13.3. So that's going to wrap up this tutorial. Once again, as far as a profile video, I will have to make one myself, or hopefully I'll find another colleague. I think Saunders had a video, but I'll find somebody who did a tutorial on how to keep the profile signed, because that is very important if you are in fact going to be using Unc0ver permanently. So thank you all very much for watching, and until the next one, please take care.